Happy Monday, folks. Baby got back. That's what we're saying today. We're going to talk about our favorite back exercises and form tips that you guys can use for getting the most out of your back day. So I think if there's one thing that Team Iron and Lace might be famous for, maybe it's some beautiful backs.
I like that idea. Sure.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, we can be famous for all the things, but also good back muscles, nice V taper,
Good tapers.
thick backs with depth. Good stuff.
Which is important. Everybody misses that depth part.
Mm-hmm.
Really knowing how to build it and grow it, and that depth just being just as important as the width. For some density.
Our team. Yeah. Okay, so I figure we can just go back and forth and talk about some of our favorite exercises. Feel free to chime in on any that I mentioned. But I think when I'm feeling a back day, I think the first thing I think of is a really good chest supported row machine where you can like adjust the handles and what is the brand of the machine that they just got at American Iron? That new one, the humbling one.
The humbling one, the Arsenal. Is that what you're talking about?
Probably. I don't know.
They're
both humbling.
Yeah. So there's the one that's actually called the Humbler is by Arsenal. And then the Mega Mass it's very similar. The rail's like the bent over. Well, they're rowing. I guess not really bent over, but more like T-bar, supported T-bar row.
Yeah, exactly. I like those because I feel like it is a really good way to force you to get like that shoulder. Like it's almost like your shoulders fold forward at the bottom. You get that really big stretch right here and then pull back into a row. So it's like the full range of motion and all of the different like types of motion for your back, because your back isn't just like here to here. It's also here to here. Yeah. So I really like those.
I will say one thing about that one is one common mistake I see a lot of people doing on it is lifting their chest up and thinking that that's helping them when actually it's not. So you're actually taking the movement out of the back and pulling more with shoulders when you do that. So always keeping your chest to the pad and not cheating it by bringing the chest up. So yeah, driving the elbows back. Like that's the big key, is always driving elbows backwards. You're not pulling with your hands, you're driving your elbows back. If we're talking about rows, I guess I should say.
Do you think that people get mixed up when they're like they make that mistake when they're using this machine because of that like chest up cue that so many people use when you are doing, whether it's like a cable pull down or even like seated cable rows where it's like chest up? Do you think that they just apply that same thing to this machine?
Maybe, but that movement also makes it easier because you're recruiting so many other things. And so then, and a little bit of momentum too. So you're taking your back out of it. So yeah, I think it's more that than it is the thinking chest up thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just because it is easier.
Yeah.
It's only natural that our bodies want to compensate.
Exactly. Right.
When you are setting up the handles for a row machine like that, you can do like a neutral grip. A lot of times you can do one that's like at a 45 degree. You can do one that's at 90. And then like close versus wide. Like what's your like go-to setup? And then if you were to change it to like closer or wide, what would you be working instead?
So I don't have a go-to necessarily, but I always tell people, like especially like cable rows or any of the rowing machines, well, I guess even pull downs, yeah, any of them. like wherever do your arms, like when you naturally lift up, where do your arms want to naturally go? Because that's going to be your path that they feel comfortable in. So not here and then rowing from here. It's like naturally lifting up your arms and going from there. So like naturally here, that's where your arms want to be. So, and then as far as grip, it depends on what we're focusing on. So, you know, each grip is going to target a different muscle. So it really depends on which, not different muscle, different muscles. So it really depends on what we're trying to target with that particular lift, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. So like one of the things that I have heard and been told and also experienced is like where your elbows are as far as like, sorry, I need to be taller for a second, but I have a dog on my lap. Excuse me, dog. Where your elbows are, like how close they are to your body and how high they go, it will like determine how high or low on your back you're like targeting. So if you were to put handles like a lot wider, your elbows will have to be higher. You can't have like a wide grip and have your elbows tight together. You'd look like this. So
Yeah.
having a wide grip, elbows will be higher, so you might hit more rear delt. And then if you have a closer grip, a little bit more like mid back focus for your rows.
Yep, and that's where, like I was talking about with your grip too. So if you're going to be neutral, most of the time you're going to be driving that down and back. So that's going to hit your lower lats because that's where your elbows are going to end up. If you're overhand, the elbows are going to be up higher, so you're going to be hitting upper mid back, and then neutral grip is going to kind of give to you more that mid range back. So yeah, and I tell my clients all the time, wherever your elbows end up, that's where you're targeting basically. And then there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, I mean, obviously all the different muscles, whether that's lower lats, traps, rhomboids, teres, all those things get involved. So there's obviously all the secondary muscles that are targeted with each one of those too.
Mm-hmm. There are so many different variations of rows. I feel like I one time just for fun, I wrote myself a back exercise, like or a back workout where it was just all rows, just to be like, how many different row variations can I do in one day? I do not recommend doing this. It's not like a productive thing. It was just for fun. But there's so many. Like you have cable rows, there's different rowing machines in different, like whether you're chest supported and you're on an incline, like a 45-degree almost, or if you're chest supported and it's straight up and down and like you're kind of standing and doing the row. You've got dumbbell rows, even like kettlebell rows, the gorilla rows that I know you posted on your story, which I love. Those are so fun to do. So there's so many different ways to row, and there are very few of them that I'm like, it's not that great. Like there's a lot of really good rowing variations. Also like barbell and Smith machine. The landmine too, like Meadows rows. So I'm just name dropping a bunch of stuff, but in your opinion, Shalise, which ones are like have you found to be the most effective for you and then maybe for your clients as well?
Oh, so I guess with this one, I would say it depends on the body. It depends on the person. Everybody feels things differently. Everybody, if you really know how to engage your back versus your arms doing the work or your shoulders doing the work, it's going to be different for everybody and what they feel. So I don't necessarily have a favorite. There are ones that are like I choose because I really feel the engagement from them, like cable lat stretchers. We've talked about those quite a bit. They're some of my favorite ones, and the one I get the most feedback on from clients too. They're like, "Ooh, I've never done these before," and when I do them, I feel everything. I feel every part of my lat, the stretch, the contraction, everything. So, I guess if I had to pick, that would be definitely one of them because you really do feel it if you do it correctly. Um, I mean, I love a good Meadows row. Um,
Oh yeah.
again, if you can do them correctly.
Mm-hmm.
um, Gosh,
When
I
you
mean,
do them, do you use VersaGrips to help hold the bar since
totally
it's so much? Okay, yeah.
wired. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I guess, I mean, I don't personally have any favorites. For me, it's just more like, wait, do I have any favorites? I love any like cable pull down with like the supported chest supported cable pull downs,
Mm,
the single arm, because again, like, just the feeling it on each side. Because I know one side is definitely weaker than the other, and I have better mobility on one side than the other, but it's like really isolate that on each side. Absolutely one of my favorites. But yeah, I mean, I just make sure when I'm doing a back workout that I'm getting every single type of grip in there. At least some point in the week. There's going to be an overhand, there's going to be a neutral, there's going to be an underhand, and it might
mhm.
be a couple of them doing rows and pull downs. So yeah. What about you?
Well, before I say my favorites, what is the row where you are like facing down on that bench that
Seal
they
row?
have at American Idol? What was it?
The seal row?
Yeah, seal row. Those are hard.
Yes, they
Those are so killer. Because you can't use any momentum.
yeah.
Kind of the point.
Yep. They're so good. I just feel
Um,
like they're just not super comfortable for me. Like the whole face down thing, like, I don't know. I don't know.
gotta gotta wipe it down first.
Yeah. I love them. I think they're great, but I don't know. Like there's so many other, I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe there could be a better way to set it up. Almost like if your knees could hang off, but your back is still like parallel to the ground. I don't know.
They
Look
do
up
have
different
machines like
steel
that.
rows. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one was, what is the row where you use where you would normally do a seated cable row and you are completely bent over so that you are parallel to the ground and you fully stretch out and then you're pulling
The
the
Dante row.
cable. Yeah, I like those. Are those so? And that one I worry because to me that would be one of those exercises where you might find some like form police or biomechanics police saying that it's not necessarily the most like optimal position for your back. What do you know?
Would you know, would
Like,
I know what? Sorry, I missed the
um,
question.
just if that is, if you would consider that like an effective back exercise or something that could be considered like an okay, it,
So, I mean, there are variations you can do that are probably a whole hell of a lot easier to set up, like pull down
mhm,
variations. Um, yeah, I don't know. I know that I mean, there's definitely pull down variations you can do that are going to be easier to
yeah.
do.
And it's
But
essentially the same movement,
yeah,
just different plane. Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. I'll have to look at that. Some of the like do you follow Ben Yanes? I think,
Hmm.
or is that how you say his last name? Or
I
is it
think so.
like
That's right.
Giannis? Yeah.
I think
Yeah, all of his videos are super cool how he like explains like, yeah, you could do this exercise, but this one is probably better and this is why. Those are cool. I feel like maybe I'll message him and be like, "Can you do one on the Dante row?"
there you go. Yeah,
Yeah. Because he knows his stuff for sure.
yeah.
Um,
He has some really good content.
mhm. Okay, so rows. Anything else on rows before we want to move on?
Um, I think the big thing with rows you have to be careful with is like I see a lot of people get really shruggy with them, and pull with their shoulder. They'll start that movement with their shoulder instead of with their lat. So a lot of people get that movement wrong because of that. Here's the thing with back, and I think I it's not one of those vanity muscles. You can't see it working unless obviously someone's recording you. So it's really hard to sometimes get that engagement. And I think it's one of the harder sometimes one of the harder muscles to get people to get that mind muscle connection, especially new lifters, to get that mind muscle connection with their back. But once they do, they're like, oh, I felt it. That's it. And it's one of the most fun ones too, because they're like, oh, that's it. That wasn't my, my shoulder doing it. That wasn't my bicep doing it. That wasn't whatever, forearms. And they can finally, get that engagement with their lats. So with rows, you just have, like I said, you have to be careful because a lot of people will make them really shruggy. And then just making sure that that rib cage is nice and strong when you're doing those rows, if you're not, supported by anything.
Mm-hmm.
And either way, with pull downs and rows, like it's always driving with the elbows. So I'm always telling people your hands are just hooks. They're just there to be a hook. Relax that. Don't have a death grip, however you want to hold it. So I do this. I do false grip. I know people go fully around. I hold it like this because that forces me to not have that death grip on it. But yeah, like you're driving everything with your elbows. You're not pulling with your hands. And I think that's a really good cue with a lot of my clients is they're like, oh, okay, so I'm pulling that elbow down or I'm pulling that elbow back versus pulling my hand with my hand. And that gets them to get that engagement a little bit better with your rows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's one of those ones, it's like your back is the hardest muscle group to like really, like I said earlier, to really feel. But it's one of the easiest ones to fake because you can do it all with biceps or all with arms or all with shoulders, and not really ever get that good engagement with your back.
Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to mention about rows. I don't think so. We got them all. We can talk about pull downs now, which is you can do single arm. You can do, I think, like normal, like the wide bar pull downs. That's probably going to be the most common. A lot of gyms, even commercial gyms now, they have the mag grip handles or copycat mag grip handles that are good enough. So that would force you to have that hook grip, whether it is the like V handle version or it's the wider one that's mimicking the like a neutral grip, like a D. It's called a D bar.
Yeah,
The bent one. Yeah. So all of the different like kind of what you were saying, working in all of the different grips into a back workout throughout the week. I think a super like even if you just picked a row and a pull down for each of your the days when you're going to be working out your back, you could switch out the handle between those and get different results from each handle that you're using. So do you want to give a quick overview, Shalise, of like which handle you would pick for biasing different muscles?
Sure.
Yeah, so start with the V grip handle.
Okay, so with your V grip, you're gonna hit a lot of the teres muscles and your lower lat because you're bringing it down here this way, obviously depending on, yeah. So yeah, you're gonna get a lot of the lower lat and the teres. So I guess I won't go into the whole anatomy of anything. Nobody needs to know all that.
You can. Why not? We got an hour.
I don't want to.
Okay.
And then, so yeah, so that you're working on that one with that. So overhand, you're going to get a lot more of the upper lats, your latimus dorsi. You're going to get teres, you're going to get rhomboids with that. A little bit of the upper trap section up in there. And then when you're going underhand, you're going to go back to a lot more your lower lats with that one. But again, there's multiple muscles being used, but like the main focus is, you know, when we're talking about lats is what area you're choosing in your back.
For underhand, if you have like an overhead cable, is there ever an exercise where you would say you can do underhand? Because I know there was one time where you gave me a back workout and it used one of the, you like, or actually no, American Iron has one where it's like an underhand that you can, it's almost like an overhead row that comes down. And I think I may have seen some of those at like a commercial gym. So what is that machine called? Is it called an overhead row? Is it called what is it?
Maybe pull down. Are you talking about the plate loaded?
Yeah.
So
Where yeah, you're facing this way and your underhand and it like swings down like that.
Yeah, that would be it. So it's a plate loaded. Well, no, yeah, you're right. Well, shit. No, plate loaded. Yeah. It's a pull down. So plate loaded, pull down. And it's
And
gonna hit
that's
your
like a pull down you can do underhand. Cause on a cable, overhead cable, you wouldn't, would you ever like tell somebody to do underhand on an overhead cable?
for sure.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've never done that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little slight bit more of a lean back and go underhand with it for sure.
Okay. So
I would
if
suggest
we're
on that
talking
one
about
is if your gym is equipped enough to have it, like American Iron is, because we're so spoiled. So instead of doing like a straight bar with it, because a lot of people can't get that external rotation of their shoulders, so pulling it down and getting straight with their shoulder or their wrists might be pretty difficult. So if you use like one of the ones with handles, or just wrap handles around a straight bar so that you get more of that 45-degree bend,
oh,
and then
I
you
see
can
what you're saying.
so yeah, so then you're not fighting the rotation of or the limited or lack of rotation in your shoulders or wrists to get to there. Having that's where it's really nice to have either the handles or, well, yeah, the handles, so that you have
Yeah.
more range of motion with your wrists there. And that's where like that machine we were just talking about is really nice, because those handles do swivel, so there's a lot of range of motion within those.
Yeah, like as you go up, they can become more neutral, and then or like as you pull, they can become more neutral, is what I mean to say. Like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. um so for an overhead cable where you're doing some kind of pull down with a handle, depending on the handle, I will usually have my clients change like how leaned back they are. So you're saying with an underhand, you're going to be pretty leaned back with
Just slight lean back.
so like can we see so like here.
Yeah, because you're driving that elbow down for your lower lats.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then when you're using like a normal wide bar or like a straight bar, will you have people in the same position or are they slightly further up?
Still a slight lean back, maybe not as far,
Still
but yeah,
same position there. And then for the V grip, are they more straight up and down, or do you have them lean back the same amount?
I would say it depends on how far you're having them pull it down. Because I know there's some people who stop right here, and then that you're getting more of that underneath your armpit lat. But then if you're pulling it all the way down again to try to get that lower lat, because there's people who will bring it all the way down to their belly button, then you're going to get lower lat there. So
And that would require you to be a little bit more lean back.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And leaned back, but not like if your lower back is hurting because you're arching so much, watch that too. So it's a lean back, but you're still, your rib cage is still pretty stacked. So really
Mm-hmm.
more nice and tight.
Yeah, not an arch like where you're like arching from here. It's a
Yeah.
lean from the hips.
Yeah.
Yeah. um for overhead single arm stuff, I usually find like a traditional overhead cable kind of uncomfortable to do like a single arm pull down just because the cable is in the center and the seat is centered as well. I know that's being super picky, but um, what is your favorite like overhead single arm pull down variation that is not from a like traditional cable overhead, like where you would do your pull downs?
So like, and like you were talking about the one that more swivels versus like, yeah, that's one thing with like the I don't even know what machine it is at American Iron is they have it's not even a cable. What is it called? But it oh, I'm totally losing it right now. They're not cables. They're the thicker ones. But it has
Oh,
back. You know what I mean? So it can't
uh-huh.
move, or else it's gonna come off the track. So you have to be really careful with that, and you do have to line yourself up with it. Um,
Hmm.
so
It's like it looks like an exercise band. It's like a thick,
yeah,
like
yeah,
rubber thing instead
yeah,
of a little round cable. Hmm. Yeah, so
yeah,
I always am like, I can't do single arm on this.
yeah. So I'll always go to the center where the head swivels a little bit more, so it moves with the motion
Hmm.
of your shoulder and your body as you're
Yeah.
pulling.
Hmm. Um, I know that in a lot of the workouts that I got from you, you gave like the chest supported where you like use a bench, face the cable, and then you're pulling down with a single arm there, like
Mhm.
supporting yourself with this arm on the bench. Those feel really good, which is I think is kind of just like it's almost like a single arm version of the lat stretchers, the cable lat stretchers.
In a way, yeah, yeah. Same,
Similar.
same muscles.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Talked about rows, talked about pull downs. Um, rear delts, because those are usually like, yes, they are being worked with some of your back exercises, but if you are a bodybuilder, you'll probably have dedicated rear delt exercises and rear delt work. What are some of your go-tos for programs for your competitors?
For rear delt, uh,
Yeah.
oh gosh, a lot of I mean, obviously, like the reverse pec deck will be one. That's always usually in there somewhere.
Mhm.
Face pulls of some sort will be in there. Um, Rear delt swings are some of my absolute favorites.
That's
Just
what I
because,
had written down.
yeah, a little pump that you get from that. Um, I don't know. I always feel my rear delts. It is a skill for sure to fill your rear delts and to target your rear delts, one in the pec deck and not recruiting your back, your upper back. So getting that shorter range of motion. So there's that. But any type of fly, I think any type of back fly, um, shortening that range of motion so you're not getting your upper back and your traps involved. Um, it's a skill, and people have to like it's a definite mind muscle connection with rear delts with those. But I would say that's another one. Anything where you're kind of like my LYTP is a great example of that one. I put that one on there, right? So we get your medial delts with that, but then we also get your rear delt with that with the last couple exercises, and that's like that just short range of motion, kind of just burning it out with flies. Basically, is what it is. Rear delt flies. No, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I muted myself on purpose
Oh, gotcha.
because the dog is getting into mischief.
Oh,
Come here. Come here. Come here. Um, yeah, rear delt swings, those are my top for sure. Um, coaching how, or like doing in-person training and trying to have talk somebody through finding their rear delts, and like you said, not just like squeezing their shoulder blades together to get like a bigger range of motion. It's like it's not a lot, but it is effective when you can actually feel them. But that is one of the hardest things that I think I've had to do is coach newer lifters on how to like find their rear delts. So it takes time and a lot of reps.
it does. And I think they're highly neglected. And I think we talked about this, I don't know, months ago, about when I was trying to develop my shape for figure, obviously, getting that 3D delt. That rear delt is what a lot of people miss. So you get that nice shoulder cap and that's fine. But when you turn around, if you don't have that nice rear delt, you're losing out, like especially in that back shot, because that rear delt is going to stick out so much and it's going to help your shoulders just look freaking phenomenal in any sort of back pose in any division. So like really learning to that mind muscle connection to the rear delt is going to be super important for physique athletes. Yes, for lifestyle too, because of injuries. We want to make sure everything's developed well-roundedly developed. I'm not saying that correctly, but we want to be well-rounded and developed in our physiques so that we don't, we can prevent injuries and, we're not causing any imbalances or whatever. But yeah, with physique athletes, like you can tell when they're missing out on their rear delt engagement, because you won't see those beautiful 3D delts back there. And so one thing I would do is always start my programs with rear delts, because if that's a weakness, start there and build that. Go do your other things. But by the end, rear delts are one of those things that are kind of they're the secondary muscle for a lot of exercises, especially pulling exercises. Not super isolated during a lot of them, but so that's where I would include them, like I was saying earlier in the program, to make sure you really like focus on that isolation of the rear delts and get them when they're fresh, so that they can do, less work later, and you can target your back when it's one of the secondary muscles. So, get the full crap, I lost my word again. I guess engagement of the muscle when it's fresh versus later in your program.
Yeah, like if you're going to be isolating them, do it when they're fresh, because you're going to be using them later on anyways, and they don't have to be fresh because they're secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. That is good program design advice.
And this another thing I would tell you guys about rear delts too is that partial reps are fantastic for rear delt stuff. For those little tiny muscles, I know all the time we're like, oh, go to fatigue and full range of motion and all of that. Rear delts are one of those where partial reps are actually pretty great development. You're still kind of just burning it out. So don't be afraid to, your failure is getting a couple of partial reps in there, because it's still going to get those smaller muscles and help develop them. So push for those last few reps, and even if they are partial reps.
Lateral raises too, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that we're talking about shoulders, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So when bodybuilders talk about back, I think they're kind of talking about the portion that would be above your belly button. Your back is still like your lower back. It does exist. There are exercises for your lower back. Other than like the most muscular bodybuilding divisions, would you ever program in exercises for like that would specifically work your lower back for a reason other than just like normal core strength and stability? Would you actually try to build up
Maybe volume work on it, just again, so you don't create any imbalances or any injuries or whatever, just to strengthen those muscles. But for hypertrophy purposes, figure and up as far as women's divisions, yes, because we want those erectors to be showing. Bikini, fit model, wellness, not so much. Again, every once in a while throwing in there. It wouldn't be something I'd have as a staple in the program at all, but just one of those just to kind of like, yeah, let's throw it in there just to, just make sure that you're stable and you're building that muscle and not creating an imbalance, but not anything like hypertrophy based. It's more, moderate weight, just get it in kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
still on it, but you know what I mean. But
And that's going to get worked like in any hinging movement as well already. So like, especially wellness girlies, if they're loading up some like RDLs, or even depending on how bent over you are in like a some sort of squat variation or a lunge variation, you could even get a little bit of engagement there just because like you are bracing your core, but that wouldn't drive like growth necessarily. That's just strength and being able to do those lifts.
yeah. Sorry.
Dogs, all of our dogs are unhappy. Okay, so last thing I wanted to talk about was
Go ahead, actually. Go ahead. I want to see where you're
me.
going. Yeah.
Okay. It was just different things that you can do during your workout to up the intensities, just different intensifiers and like some of our favorites. Before we talk about that, you want to?
Yeah, I want to say something really quick is everyone's like, oh, I want a smaller waist. I want a smaller waist. You get a smaller waist by building a bigger back. We know how we feel about waist trainers, and I can't stand them. And I know competitors use them, and I still to this day I don't like them for multiple reasons. But the back is what is going to make your waist look smaller. So yeah, that's how you make your waist look smaller, by building the illusion. It's all, I was telling another competitor, everything in bodybuilding is very much an illusion. So creating this nice wide back is going to make that waist look smaller. Nice developed glutes is going to make your waist look smaller. It's not about making the actual waist smaller. It's building everything else around it. And that's, your waist up to your shoulders and making sure your shoulders look nice and round too.
Mm-hmm. If you're at a healthy body fat level, your waist is probably going to be the size that it is. Like you got organs in there. I don't know how to tell you that, but they need space.
Yeah. And that's a genetic thing. Like I am one of those people. I have a thick waist. Like I have to build my back. Like there's no way around it. I'm very thick waisted. So that's gonna play a part in that too. I mean, and there's things that make your waist look thicker for sure, but really to minimize the size of your waist, there's only so much you can do. It's kind of funny. I was going through photos and deleting photos off my phone, and I ran across an email front that I had screenshotted from my former coach, and he said, "So I have an extra rib." And he goes, well, he's like, since you have an extra one, why don't you get rid of 2? That'll make sure your waist is nice and small. I was like laughing at that. But that's a thing, like that's a cosmetic thing that some girls will do too, is get rid of ribs so that they have a smaller waist. So yeah, you could cosmetically do it, but do we want to do that?
You have an extra rib?
I do. Yeah.
On both sides?
Yeah.
Do you have bigger lungs?
I have no idea. I think that's why all my nerve damage is going on in my neck and everything. But yeah,
Oh no.
I have an extra rib.
Oh, wow. Fun facts for the day.
And my neck and my cervical spine doesn't arch back like everybody else's. It goes forward.
Oh.
Yeah.
How interesting.
I'm a mess.
No. You're under construction.
I'm an anomaly.
Um,
That's what Trevor said.
yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, wait. Who told you that you had an extra rib? Did you already know that? Or was Trevor like, you have an
Trevor was
extra rib?
he found it. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
had no idea before then. That
Mm-mm.
is nuts.
No, because I went in for all my x-rays and stuff for all the neck pain and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where like he's like, so you have extra ribs. Yeah, an extra rib. Yeah. And your spine does this and so does this. Yeah, he was the one who found it all.
Whoa.
And which is really
No
because I went
way.
to a spine specialist who did all of this, never once pointed it out to me. He just said, oh, you're a bodybuilder, and that's why you have all your muscles around there that are constricting everything. It's like, really? Like, that's
Wow.
your explanation.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So Trevor is my hero for figuring it all out.
Wow. Round of applause. Dang. Okay. Any other things on exercises you want to mention before we go into intensifiers?
I don't think so.
Okay. Cool. My favorite thing to add in for a back day is like tempos, whether that is like really slow, eccentric or concentrics or pauses, on both like lengthened position and contracted, either one.
And
Playing
I
around with
used
tempo.
to
I
do
think,
a lot of that. But more and more of the research is showing that tempo training isn't as effective as everyone thought. So I don't do
mm,
it as much as I used to. But I mean,
gotcha.
I still will on eccentrics sometimes, but not as much as on the concentric part. And again, that's more like within the last few years, I've kind of changed my mind on that. And
Hmm.
again, it's because like that's just kind of stuff I've seen come out. Like tempo training, it really isn't that big of a deal. It doesn't make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
Um,
There have been a lot of studies recently talking about how like everyone thought you had to train muscles like way more than you needed to in order to see growth. And like you were saying, drop sets and tempo may not be as effective as we thought. Um, what are some other ones that have come out? I can't think of any others besides those, but um, for beginners, I would wonder if like for beginners, a tempo, like a slower tempo would just be beneficial so that they can feel if they're engaging the muscle a little bit more, and like forcing them to not use momentum when they like haven't really connected to their back. So maybe like it could still be, I'd be interested to see like trained lifters versus newer,
yeah,
if there's a difference there.
yeah,
um like as you're learning, you're just not going to be as efficient either. So if you are trying to like really focus on each part of the movement and you slow it down, I don't know. It's all just bro science.
I mean, really, again, it's all kind of that. It depends, like what works best for that person at that moment, you know,
Uh-huh.
and then you move on from there.
Yeah. Um, okay. A sprinkle of momentum safely. That's what I wrote. So like a little bit of rip it and grip it when it comes to back, or using like partial reps and maybe a little bit of momentum during those partial reps. Um, me-
Trying to find my notes on that. I just saw him. I was just looking at him and then I lost him. Oh, there it
yeah.
is. Um, yeah, I mean, you don't want to, your last couple reps, like when you're going to failure and you're really pushing it, you might use a little bit of momentum and that's okay. But when it's too much. Like you look at some people, you're like, dude, like can we get like one good rep out of this? Like, so yeah, momentum's okay when you're like trying to fight for like those last couple for sure. But you don't need momentum through the entire thing. And again, there is like going through the concentric and eccentric parts of the movement. You should stay engaged the entire time. So if you're like throwing it up and yanking it down and holding it and throwing it up, like you're wasting all of that, like working against that cable, pulling it or whatever it is, pulling it. You're missing out on a huge piece that could help your back development right there. So, but again, like I said, like those last few, if you just need to get a little bit oomph into it, sure, use a little bit of momentum.
Yep. Yep. Um, I wrote down isometrics, which would be considered like a pause. I think that was probably based on like the idea of time under tension. I think it makes people feel like they get a better workout. Whether or not research now is showing that that is not as effective as we once thought. Like,
I mean, they're like you said, they're intensifiers. I bring this up a lot with like shoulder exercises with my clients. You know, holding one up while the other one's doing the work, you know, or something like that. Like they're little intensifiers because let's be real, like, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, you know, there's not a lot of females that are going to be doing 50-pound dumbbell lateral raises, you know? So adding something in like that is just one way just to get a little bit more out of something. I would say, you know, for beginners, no, just do normal reps. You know, more advanced lifters, that's when you can kind of add some of this stuff in just again, it's an intensifier to intensify it in that moment, but it's not something you're going to always do kind of thing. It's just one way to make it just a little bit harder for, you know, if you're stuck at a plateau or something like that, that might be that one little piece that might help with that.
mm-hmm. Last thing I have is actually training hard. I think we said this on our favorite leg exercise call too. So we'll probably every single favorite exercise call we have, we'll say, okay, oh yeah, also by the way, actually train freaking hard.
Yes, there is that.
Yeah. I have said this before, but I'll say it again. I'll keep saying it till the day I die. If you want to train harder, look at people who train harder than you and try to be like them. And if you think that you're the best, guess what? You're not. Go find somebody who's better. They're probably on YouTube. So yeah, go watch them train. Any of the like women's bodybuilding or women's physique, like, and even figure, straight up, like competitors, watch them train. You could watch some of the wellness girls, some of the bikini girls if you want to, but it's just going to be different style. And I don't think it might not inspire you to train really hard. If you're trying to like get that like aggression, you know? I don't know I haven't seen a lot of training vlogs from like the bikini or wellness girls where they're like faces turning red and they're like grunting, which if you're into that sort of thing, you need to go to the more muscular people.
I will say this. I actually have two things, one about bikini, one about wellness. I think my favorite people to watch train legs are wellness competitors because their legs are big for a reason. You watch their workouts, and you're like, oh shit. Okay, that's what I need to do to look like that. Because they have some pretty freaking intense leg workouts. And if you know, it's not just like, okay, I did my 8 to 10 reps or whatever. It's like, no, they're hard ass, heavy ass reps. It's so fun to watch them lift when they're lifting. I saw the best thing though. I'm going to go with the bikini thing real quick. A guy called out Laura Lee and the way that she was training, and it said, Chapados. And he was saying, this is not the way you train. And it was like the most perfect posterior chain workout. He goes, bullshit. This is not the way. And he went off and he's like, this is not a good workout. Here's why it's not a good workout. She's not even working that hard. Da, 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 da. He's like, but hold up. He's like, here's why it's not the most perfect posterior chain. Laura Lee has already developed this physique. She doesn't have to work her ass off to get it anymore. She's fine tuning shit at this point. And I thought it was the best video. I'm like, boom. So you guys, I know this has nothing to do with back, but it does. When you're training, don't watch these, yes, watch these competitors train like you were talking about. There's some out there that are training their ass off for sure. But also know, like bikini competitors, and the top level ones, they've already built the physique. They don't want to get any bigger. That's not the goal anymore. So when you're watching some of their exercises and they're doing their 10 and 12 reps and they're not struggling and they're not working hard, they've already built the muscle that they need. They don't need to get any bigger. So that's not the way that you should be training. You should be training hard to get the ass that they have so that you can then back off your training when you have the ass that they have. I thought it was the best video. I was like, that's it right there. Like, he's so spot on. Because I'm like, I get frustrated because I get these girls like, well, can I do what she's doing in this exercise? I'm like, no, that's not going to help your ass grow. Like, she's already developed it. She's just forming and shaping and fine tuning things at this point. So same thing. I mean, this could be any body part, but he was just talking about glutes specifically. And I absolutely loved the video.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really, really cool perspective. And I think people don't think about it like that either, to where like the maintenance of the muscle that these top level competitors already have is like, yeah, like you said, it's not going to get you to that point.
Yeah.
They didn't film the training sessions. Well, maybe they did, but you're not watching the training sessions where they were still building and they did not look the same. I think that would be a cool topic for like some of the Bikini Girl podcasts to bring up. That like once you do get to a certain level, you are maintaining. I know like some of the competitors that I was close with that weren't even pros yet said, yeah, I haven't done an upper body day in 4 years. And they're like, I miss it.
Yeah. I remember
That's
watching
reality.
Sid Gillen. I think she said she hasn't done a glute workout in like forever or something. I'm pretty sure it was glutes, because she's like, I can't develop them any bigger. She had amazing, I mean, her glute down to her hamstring was freaking phenomenal. And I'm pretty sure it was that where she says, I haven't lifted heavy glutes in a really long time. She didn't need to. So
yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And I mean, so not that I had any hate towards bikini or wellness, but that's a really good point. Like, whoever is needing to build the thing that you need to build, you should be inspired by their workouts for those muscles. So like you said, Shalace, wellness girls, because I don't think any of the wellness girls are saying like, yeah, I don't have to train anymore. They're all still trying to just get bigger in their lower bodies.
Yeah.
For the most part. And then like, but bikini is limited on both upper and lower. So bikini and fit model, very, very limited on upper and lower. Wellness would be limited on upper. You can watch lower, and then figure, all of the muscular female divisions, figure, physique, and bodybuilding. They're going to be forever trying to build, and of course, depending on the athlete, there might be something that they don't prioritize as much, but you'll be a lot more likely to see one of those crazy intense workouts from those divisions because they're actively trying to grow and get put on the size that they need.
Yep.
Cool. Well, we can end on that. Any final statements about back and back day?
I guess if anything, it's very much mind muscle connection. It's like, get it, feel it. Like, close your eyes if you need to, whatever you need to. Don't pull with your hands, pull with your elbows. Like, they're just hooks. Drive with your elbows. That's where it is. Like, just feel the muscles in your back doing the work, not your arms doing the work.
Yep. Sounds good. Next week, what are we doing? Next week is the benefits of fiber. All about nature's built-in health hack and how to get more of it in your diet.
Fantastic.
Exciting. We will
Shit
see
is
you
so
guys. Yeah, we'll talk about fiber next week. So if you guys want to see more of us, I am on Instagram at Taylor CE, TAYLORCE.
And I am at Shelace, SHELACE _IFBB Pro. And then our Team Iron and Lace is at team _iron _ lace.
Yes, it is _
Fun times.
Cool. Thank you guys for joining. Have a lovely week.
Have a great week, everybody.